Most of us look at a typical suburban front yard and see a weekend chore. We think of it as a luxury for high-end designers. But your yard is actually a malleable infrastructure asset waiting to be optimized. Comparing typical home renovations, the data is clear. Intentional landscaping yields a 5 to 15% uplift in resale value. Digging deeper, basic bed maintenance delivers a 217% return on investment. A complete landscape redesign comfortably recoups over 100% of its cost. Pound for pound, strategic landscaping is the most cost-effective renovation you can perform. It maximizes your financial return while giving you a usable, living space to enjoy every day. To capture that value, you must read your lot's physical realities before buying a plant. Map out the summer sun, the winter water pooling, and natural street sightlines. Looking at this climate map of Vancouver Island, we see exactly what we're designing for. The region has shifted into Mediterranean-style hardiness zones 7B through 9A. This means cool, wet winters, but increasingly dry summers that demand drought resilience. Divide your property into 4 architectural zones: the public front yard, the utility side yard, the private backyard living area, and the protective perimeter edges. You also must factor in ecological pressures, like the roaming paths of Columbia black-tailed deer. If you don't select plants with natural defenses, like toxic sap or thick, fuzzy leaves, your new garden becomes an expensive buffet. By identifying your sun exposure, climate realities, and local wildlife, an overwhelming piece of land snaps into a highly organized 4-zone blueprint ready for execution. With the blueprint set, we move into the execution phase, driven by the biological calendar. The year starts in spring, but not with planting. Spring is entirely about building soil structure. Island soils range from heavy clay to fast-draining rock. To fix either, you lay down a thick sheet mulch of fresh arborist wood chips. This layer acts like a sponge, creating a massive moisture reservoir to capture the lingering winter rains. Because these chips are completely unprocessed, they are biologically active. As they break down, the internal temperature of the pile can actually reach up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, injecting critical nutrients straight into the ground. By July, the island enters a heat survival reality. To keep the garden alive, you employ hydrozoning. This is a design principle where you group plants strictly by their water needs, so you never waste a drop of irrigation on a species that doesn't require it. This graphic illustrates the island's strict 4-stage drought restrictions. During peak summer, outdoor watering is tightly limited to the window between 7 p.m. and 9 a.m. Watering outside these hours means losing your resources directly to evaporation. True drought resilience doesn't mean finding ways to water more often. It means working with the soil calendar in the spring to lock in moisture long before the August dry spells ever hit. While most gardeners wait for the first heat of spring to visit the nursery, the actual ideal window for planting is autumn. The soil is still warm from the summer, the heavy rains have returned to do the watering for you, and local nurseries are looking to clear out their stock at lower prices. You use this autumn window to establish your structural backbone. For a resilient landscape, that backbone has to be built using native, drought-proof trees. The ultimate keystone species is the Gary oak. It provides a massive, sprawling architectural canopy, and once it spends a couple of years in the ground, it is totally immune to summer drought. Then you have the arbutus. It's the region's only native broadleaf evergreen, giving your yard a vibrant burst of color and striking peeling bark right through the grayest days of winter. Getting these expensive native anchors into the ground during the autumn wet cycle gives their root systems 6 uninterrupted months to establish, ensuring their survival. Trying to build out all 4 zones at once leads to financial strain and burnout. Real ecosystems take time to compound. To manage the workload, you implement a 3-year phasing strategy. Watching this timeline overlay, you see the property evolve. Year 1 focuses purely on the soil foundation and planting anchor trees. Year 2 introduces hardscape paths and fills the garden beds with deer-resistant perennials like lavender and Russian sage. Finally, in Year 3, you establish protective privacy edges and install the final polish, the exterior lighting. Integrating a simple, low-voltage LED system expands the usable footprint of your home. It pulls your focus out to the mature anchor trees, provides nighttime security, and keeps the yard functional long after the sun goes down. Residential landscaping doesn't have to be an exhausting one-off construction project. When you plan by the zone and plant by the season, it becomes a rewarding, evolving stewardship of your own personal ecosystem.